PowerPoint. So I can just use this, huh? Doesn't matter where I stand? Okay, we'll give it a test here. Give it a test here. So this is about us. We are a women-owned business enterprise. Not that that matters so much here, but that is one of the things. So this is actually not an agenda. I do recognize what an agenda is, and this is not one. This is the description for the class. And so when I was reading through this, I was trying to decide how to approach this and how to make sure that we hit on all of the topics in here. Because there's some hefty ones, negotiating issues. I think that could maybe be a 3-day course, you know. So I think that what we'll cover today, we'll cover all of this. And we'll go back and look at this slide when we get to the end and see if you have some tools. I want to make sure that you walk away with some tools to handle these issues. So leadership, we have as many different methods probably of leadership as there are people to invent them. It's kind of what I've always felt like. We all have tons of books on our shelves. We've read them. We've been to workshops like this. But we're always searching for whatever the magic formula is, or whatever the magic set of building blocks is to bring a great leadership style, to have a great leadership style. And it is a work in process. It's multifaceted. You get frustrated with something, and you kind of get dragged down by that, and then you have to come back and refresh yourself and remind yourself. But people want different things. They're motivated by different things. Some by power, some by money, some by just wanting to do a good job. So you have lots of different things that motivate people. And I really think that that's part of the frustration in trying to come up with a good leadership style, is you have all these different needs, and not everything that you do will meet everyone's needs. So this is one method of leadership. Not so much anymore, but you know, every time I see this picture, I'm reminded of is it Henry Ford's quote that you can have a car in any color you want as long as you want black. This is kind of what I'm reminded of. You've got the leader, and it's the because I told you to do it, you're going to do it this way. So this is one leadership style. Certainly, people are trying to still do this, but more often than not, this is what it looks like, right? Okay. So you've got the little duckling in the center going, okay. I know that if I came in and I said to my staff, okay, this is what we're going to do, I mean, every one of them has, I don't think that's what we're going to do, you know. So it's a matter of compromise, and I know I open myself up to that. So this is a list of leadership qualities. So David Ogilvy, he started an advertising agency at Ogilvy and Mathers in 1948. And he went out and he made a list of leadership qualities to look for in the employees. And he kind of had a model that everyone was a leader. Okay, so whether they were the leader of an account, they were the leader of a section of an account, if they were the department leader, they were a leader. And he went out and hired people that followed these things. And if you look at this list, they're all things that I think that we would probably list as qualities of a leader. Charisma, their capacity for hard work and midnight oil, brilliant brains. You know, there's lots of things on there that are very valid qualities in good leaders. Without pettiness. I like that one. But this is what that kind of looks like. You surround yourself with others, we go on the mission, and we get it done. Now, I would say that you probably don't have the ability to do that quite so much in your role, right? You don't get to pick who the assessor is. You don't get to pick who's on the county council. You don't get to pick who the commissioners are. Except for your one vote, you don't get to pick those things. And in some cases, since we're districted, you don't get to pick regardless at all. So this is, I think that's a really great things to look for in a leader, and certainly in the people that you hire in your offices. This is another method of leadership. So four methods: emotional intelligence, lifelong learning, moving toward a vision, and then vision. Kind of in a circular path, and again speaks to that leadership is something that's ever evolving, it's changing. And I know it's a little small, I apologize for that. But communication skills and interpersonal skills, all of these, both things that are very important. Communication would certainly be part of the nurturing, and then having everyone feel part of the team and that they're valued. Creating a vision, motivation, curiosity, drive, all things that are part of being a good leader. Okay. Oops, wrong button. There we go. Here's another one. 4 characteristics of a learning leader. The ability to deal with ambiguity, capacity to learn, capacity to foster engagement, and the ability to use open systems thinking. So the ability to create a team, to actively diffuse power, all of the things that you've said. So these are all really great models of leadership. And what again, always a work in progress. So I might go back here. Let's see. Yeah. So this is what my office looks like though. Okay? So I come to a workshop and I almost feel like I'm in the workshop in a vacuum. Right? So when I'm there, I'm like, oh, this is really great. I could go back and I could do this and I could do that and I could do this. And then the phone rings and then the commissioner calls and says blah, blah, blah. And then the court brings in this new thing and I get down to here. And this workshop that I went to is now 3 weeks ago and I haven't done any of it. Right? So somehow on our teams, in our offices, we have to get the pig to talk to the cow and then the chickens. And we all have to get them moving in the same direction and going down the right path. Right? Yeah, in your mind you're thinking, well, that person's the cow, and that person's the chicken. Yeah, you've got them all, I know. So,
we got several of those spots.
hanging out there too. So what I want to give you today is a model that you can use. And I call it a leadership model because it's, I think, what's helped me become a leader in my company and a leader in the classrooms that I go into. And it's helped me because it helps me understand the other people that I'm working with. Okay, so that's True Colors. It's a model that whenever we bring new people into our company, we take them immediately through this personality test. We explain to them, and it helps us also relate to the people in our workshops. Okay, so we go out and we train all over the place, and it helps us relate. And I think that relating to people is a huge, important piece of leadership. If you can understand the language that they're using to talk to you, and from that language derive what their behavior might be, then that will really help you in the long run. And it's not complicated. So, True Colors, it's easy to remember. It's easy to use, easy to understand. And it's just a method for understanding yourself, and then how you react to situations, and then understanding the other 3 colors and how they react to situations. Okay? So when we go back to the description of the course, I don't know exactly what you thought you were going to get when you came here. So, but I think that what True Colors will help you with is really all of those skills there, just in being able to communicate with other types of personalities. So I'm going to give you all a set of cards. And I apologize, I ordered books for you, but there was some sort of delay. And so this was our yesterday's, okay, those cards really aren't going to come. What are we going to do? There you go. Okay, so go ahead and take the clip off of them. And I want to go ahead and lay them out in front of you. And with the picture side up. So go ahead and turn them so the picture side is up. And we're going to talk about the orange card first. So what I want you to do is kind of study that orange card for me. Oh, I forgot. I need to tell you a little bit about True Colors, a little bit more about True Colors. I apologize. It's okay. You can leave them laid out there in front of you. That's no big deal. So what I need you to understand, though, is even though this is maybe lighter than an in-depth study of negotiation skills or lighter than some other personality typing, it is grounded in science. It's grounded in research. It's not a fluff thing that somebody came up with, fly-by-night kind of thing. So 400 BC, Hippocrates and Plato, they start studying personality types. Hippocrates comes up with 4 personality types. Does anybody know what those are? You've heard of them. Choleric, phlegmatic, melancholic, and sanguine. So if you've done any, it's kind of a basic psychological course, then you'll have heard of those 4 terms. And they kind of, you can almost boil them down to these 4 colors in front of you. But, so that's where kind of the study of personality typing started. Then if you kind of fast forward through the years, and you get to 1921, Carl Jung was a psychologist. We call him the father of personality types, kind of quote unquote. But he went through and created personality types as well. I forgot I was standing in front of the toy. So I'm going to switch and move over here so I'm not blocking it quite so much. So he started with typing personality and behavior. Okay, so kind of sliding them into these different types. and using words that we use every day instead of melancholic and choleric and phlegmatic and that sort of thing. 1950, you've all heard of the Myers-Briggs type indicator, probably all taken it. Does anybody remember what they are? Do you know that on the Myers-Briggs, my very first letter is whether you're an introvert or an extrovert? Which one do you think I am? What'd you say? I'm an introvert. I have taken that test probably 10 times. Every single time I'm an introvert. Okay. Now, but when you first, if you've known me for 10 years, you'd know well that I'm an introvert. But the party, I'm never there. but there's some part of me that gets me up here, and I'm perfectly comfortable up here doing what I do. So regardless, most times the Myers-Briggs is broken down into 16 personality types and 4 letters. People don't remember what they are, which is one of the beautiful things about True Colors. Christine kind of attested to that. She said, I don't really remember what it was called, but I was a gold. Okay, and so we'll refresh her as to what a gold is and then what the other 3 colors are. But all of this is grounded in research, and it's just simplified down to a more usable level, user-friendly level. Now we're ready to look at the cards. Okay, so I want you to look at the orange card, and I want you to tell me what you see there on the orange card. Gambler, There's gambler with the cards, and then what else? A party person, okay. So fun. Risk taker. Traveler, okay. She's got a hammer there. Kind of a fixer. Yeah, they're all mimes. Just to say, it's not color, it's not gender, it's people. Yeah. She got the world on a string. It's a bright color. Yes. So she's parachuting. So he's snowboarding. So that would be adventurous. So here's some words that would describe the orange card, right? Adventure, gambling, entertaining, risk. Handy, that's the spark plug and the hammer. Okay, usually, yeah. Witty, optimistic, physical, and generous. So they like to gamble and then give you all their winnings, right? So they're generous people, but they're generous of their time, they're generous of their enthusiasm. Okay? All right, let's look at the blue. What do you see in the blue? Mushy, okay. Sentimental. How about the dove? Peace. Thoughtful. Relationship, right? There's a relationship there between the children. So that's kind of words that you can associate with blue. Imaginative, relationships, romantic, poetic, spirituality. So the dove can be peaceful, but it can also be a dove, as in a religion. Sympathetic, sincere, personal, enthusiastic. Okay. The next one's green. What do you see in green? Okay. Learner. What did you say? Knowledgeable. How about the pyramid and the space shuttle? When you go into space, you are an explorer. So you're exploring things. Traveler. Yeah. He's got the magnifying glass, so solving problems, that sort of thing. Okay. So science, exploration, asks questions. Curious, intelligent, analytical. Calm. Very calm. Perfectionist and logical. Okay. The last one is our goals. You may have a green in the growing there. What about gold? What do you see with gold?
They don't look trustworthy. I don't know.
They don't look trustworthy? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But they like money, or they're covetous of money, or they're savers, or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, saving money. They're fiscally aware.
Maybe controlling, is that in there, or?
Not necessarily controlling.
Organized.
Organized, yes. What do you see, Christine?
Either they're punctual or they're 5 minutes late.
Yeah. Time is, being on time is important, timeliness. If you make a date, then you want to make sure that you're there on time. The planner there would be the organized. The money would be fiscally responsible.
They're prepared. He's got an umbrella.
Mm-hmm. They are prepared.
In the home sweet home, they're not much to travel.
They're home oriented. Yes, it's very important to them. Home is very important. What does the suit say to you? What does the suit say to you? Maybe, yeah. Sorry? Refined, traditional, conservative. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He doesn't, but he's not dressed in the parachute gear either.
Yeah.
So planner, time-oriented, values home, conservative, organized, loyal, dependable, concrete. Okay, so there's none of that dreamer that's was on the blue card is there, and then caring. Okay, so there's nothing bad. What you said, Debbie, was a perfect comment. You see some of yourself in all of these, and that's true. You're not. You have a dominant color usually, and you have a pale color, but you have some of everything in you. So what I want you to do first is I want you to organize these cards based off of what we've just said. I want you to organize them in front of you. The one that's most likely you to your left, the one that's least like you to your right. Okay?
You can tell us if you really aren't what you think you are.
Well, you're going to determine what you are.
Can you look at the back?
Not yet. Yeah, just organize it based off of the picture on the front. So left is most like you, and right is least like you. Okay, everybody done? Lonnie, are you set? Are you set? Not yet? I know. Okay, now I want you to turn them over and just leave them in the same position, but just turn them all over, and I want you to read about the colors. And then if you need to change, then go ahead and change up the order. It is hard. Some of you it will be more difficult than others. And that's okay. I don't know if that study's been done yet. From what I've seen, it does a little bit. Yeah. Okay, everybody set? Like, what is it that we just used to do that? Deal or no deal? No, that wasn't it. The one where you answer questions. Who wants to be millionaire? Final answer? Yeah.
Can I phone a friend?
Okay, I want you to push those kind of up your desk, and I'm going to give you the next step in this process. There you go. So again, your most like you should be on the left, least like you on the right. Yeah. Yes, sir. And I want you to turn to the second page in here. And at the very top, I want you to write down under the pictures of the cards, the card that is to the left. I want you to write a 4 under that picture. So she has green all the way to the left. She's going to put a 4 under the green box. And then move to the right and write down 3, 2, 1 for the other cards. Okay, so if green was first, you put a 4, gold was second, you put a 3, blue was third, you put a 2, orange was last, you put a 1. Okay?
We're doing right to left.
Right to left, 1, 2, 3, 4, left to right, 4, 3, 2, 1. So under the gold, you're going to put 4. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then under blue, you put 3. You're okay. You're fine. And then orange will be 2. And green will be 1. Okay? All right. Everybody set? All right. So I want you then to look at the groups of words. Okay? Oops. So I want you to consider those groups of words across. Okay? Not down, but across. And across those groups of words, I want you again to do a 4, 3, 2, 1. 4 being the most like you, 1 being the least like you. So read the words. The group of words that are the most like you, put a 4. The ones that are least like you, put a 1. And then 3 and 2 for the middle 2. In order of most like you to least like you.
4 is most.
4 is most, 1 is least. Yes.
There's one word I see as I will get that as maybe.
Okay. Yes, please. Go ahead and go down all the rows.
Would be too analytical.
Don't be too analytical, but just the most like you, yeah, least like you. done with all of the rows, you can add them up down at the bottom. You want to include the row that it has your pictures on it. Okay. So you're going to add up 6 numbers. No, add up 6 numbers and get a total for each color down at the bottom. Okay, is everyone total? Okay, so did you all have a clear highest number? No ties? Did you have a clear highest number? Okay, so that's your brightest color. So on the bottom part there, you can write that that's your brightest number, color. Did you have a clear palest color? Do you have a tie there? Okay. So did were your first two close together? We're close together. We're tied. Yeah. And then was there a lowest number? Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead and write down your palest color.
Palest meaning the least.
The smallest number. Mm-hmm. Smallest up. And then you can write the other two there. Yeah.
Okay, wait, I'm confused here.
Okay.
My brightest color is shaded with, meaning the next highest number?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No. There's no number above it.
We'll just get out this out there. If you do anything about personality, I apologize for everything.
Oh. All right.
So it's just in order of where they came.
Yes. Yes. Largest to smallest.
Yes.
So you're more blue than you are gold? That way it turned out? Okay, so Nicole, what was yours? What was your order?
My brightest color is gold,
Okay.
and then shaded with green, which goes to,
Looks
I
like-
thought, hip-hop green.
Mhm.
but
Were they close together in number?
pretty close, within 4, probably.
Okay. Usually 1 or 2 is a blend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then, no,
Not
it's
really.
4, so it's
Okay. It's a hint of green. And then from there, were they blue and gold, orange?
blue and orange.
Okay, all right. And Kathleen? Kathy, I'm sorry.
My brightest color is gold, shaded with blue, and orange, and green.
Okay, and how close were your gold and your blue? 4, okay. You, I would have guessed, would have been more blue. So, right or wrong? There's no right or wrong. But you asked me that question. Yeah. Were you the one that said they look like shysters? Yeah. No, just the way that you were describing yourself when you were talking. The blue was going to be important to you. I would have put blue a little higher for you possibly. Just because of the way that you were talking about a leadership style and wanting to make people feel a part, right? So, and that's just, but, you know, it wasn't at the bottom either, so, okay.
I am the reverse of her.
Okay.
I am a green, followed 1 point by an orange,
Okay, so you're a pretty good blend there.
and then a blue, which my blue then was, there was 5 points between orange and blue, and then 3 points between blue and gold.
Okay, so you're a pretty good blend of orange and green. Yeah, I would have probably guessed green for you.
Yeah.
My brightest color is gold, shaded with blue and green equally,
Okay,
with a pale orange.
okay. And how far apart is your gold and your, oh, so you're very strongly gold? Yeah, okay. Are you?
Exactly.
Okay, very, very strongly gold and then, yeah. Okay, and then orange is the end, yes, yeah.
I was one.
I would never in a million years have guessed that. Really would not have guessed that. I need to know you better, apparently.
Then I'm a gold.
Okay, and how close were your, was it gold, blue, I'm sorry, orange,
Yeah,
blue?
It was orange, blue, green.
Okay, and how close were any of them?
One. They were, well, between the brightest and palest was 9.
Okay,
And then between the two of them,
okay, and your orange was far away? Okay, all right. So what do you think my colors are? What do you think my color spectrum is? You think blue is my most dominant color? Green?
I think you may be green, because if you're in this and you're kind of analytical about looking, that's just my way.
Okay. Anybody else have a guess?
You're gonna spring a purple on us, aren't you?
No, no purples. I am perfectly tied between green, gold, and orange. And my blue is so far behind, it's like it's non-existent.
So you would be so awful. So you had your children, you just threw them out.
I threw them out in the street, they raised themselves. Yep. Yeah, no, yeah, those first three are, I mean, it was completely tied when I do my
That's
test.
kind of unusual.
It is,
And then,
it is.
I don't know anything about this, and I'm sure you do training on this, but I would think that would be unusual.
Yeah, usually what we find is different professions have different, they lead with something. You, I would have guessed, would probably have been more green because you're on the council, which to me says money, and asking questions and the details and the data and that sort of thing. Or gold, I would have said that, and your demeanor would have said that too. I would have guessed gold or green for you for the same kind of purpose. As an instructor, I didn't turn myself into this, but just I need to respond to each of you. So I show different colors depending on what you need, and it's just part of the personality. So anyway, so that's your colors. So what to do with this?
I mean, it's kind of hard to, like some of the wording, like, or we look at my desk and
Right, right. So
vivacious, when I don't see myself as a vivacious person, sympathetic, okay, okay, that is thinking it's good, you know?
yes.
When the kids are little, okay, we'll take this further. But it's hard on the wording, too.
It is, but part of that is because we are all four colors. I mean, I do give my kids hugs, and I do have a great relationship with my husband. My anniversary was yesterday, 13 whole years, So, we all have all of those colors. So that does make it difficult. Which one do I tend towards the most? So that then I can understand that, and then I can understand the other. Okay. All right. Did y'all fill out the bottom part? Okay, just so that you have that with you. Now, when you think about your spouse or your children, I know that you immediately started thinking about your grandson. Yeah. So when you think about I did this, and the first thing I thought was about my husband, and oh my goodness, well, no wonder he does that. This has got to be what he is, So we only have 5, so I don't know how we'll do that. But we've got 3 golds, 2 greens, and my lone orange. And you're sitting at the gold table. What I would like you to do is transfer to your table color, if you don't mind, by your brightest color. You take your book, and then I have this thing. You can take your cards if you want to. Is anybody orange as their second color? No.
Yes.
You are? Okay. But are you a green? Okay, so that doesn't help me.
There's just one difference
Okay, all right.
between my green and orange.
You mean by green as their second color?
Yes.
Okay, Christine, maybe you could sit with Nicole.
Yeah.
And Debbie, I'm going to actually make you be an orange for just a little bit, and you two be my golds, okay?
It's on the,
Yes.
here, just got one point.
Yeah. If we had more, I wouldn't reorganize you quite so much, but it helps if you have a couple people. So I put paper on your desk there, and what we're going to do then is I'm going to have you talk in your groups for a little bit, and then I'm going to have you talk to the rest of the group for a little bit. But what I want you to look at is your strengths, values, joys, and needs. And we're not going to spend, 3 hours on this, obviously, but we'll spend a little bit of time because you need to think about what your strengths, joys, values, and needs are. That's one section. Then you need to talk about what frustrates you, what stresses you out. Okay? And then I want you to come up with a motto or a slogan for your color. Okay? So strengths, values, joys, and needs. So what pumps you up? Frustrations and stresses, what brings you down? What frustrates you about other people? So Lonnie, you said, you mentioned big egos, but what is it about those that kind of bothers you as your orange color? And then a motto or a slogan. And then we'll discuss when I'll give you, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. You can write on that paper too. Mm-hmm. Yep. Either way.
Support my strengths.
That's right. I need to be, I think my strengths are that, like, if I were to present you with this document to add, my strength is, that's right, you can do that. Like my strengths are, I think my pride in my work and what I do is fun. I value family. Joys. Here's the thing, and that goes into, and it's kind of stressful down there, my employment and everything else. And I'm letting all about the bulk. I mean, it's not the bulk, but a lot of it, you know. It's put more on me, which causes frustrations and stress. But I don't see, I'm hammering on that, just suck it up and go on, that's my personal.
Either at work, trying to be a program manager, not making jargon.
Say that those things they think you won't hear. It makes you think they haven't dug into it.
I can use that analogy. There's a fellow that I started with cancer. He told me and we were talking about then I'm sick of being trained classes for years. I thought it would be extra years just regular. And I was talking about coming to somebody that wanted to train me and they wanted to buy it. I said, even if that's something that they put my money in. Buy money that I don't want. I said, you get the same. It's the same as
Yeah, convenience becomes.
my buddy tried to blow his way through it. It would never be on. So.
Well, here's the thing. Even those kind of people, what happens, you know, they don't even know because they know it all almost. You know what I mean?
So,
Do you have customers that show up, get their materials out of their box or whatever, slide in about like 1 minute before the hammer gets down, and then they're making decisions for the whole
they
county?
try to make kind of after 1 hour a month.
Yes,
And then pick
exactly.
up their check and benefits.
All out the door they go, and they do a really good job. And somehow their constituents may be.
Well, it's, even though it's a small community, there's a, there's a good old boy that's got a photo of this place. And we're friends and we've been voting. First time I went to that house, I'll do your homework,
That's right.
I'll do my picture of it, vote on it, put it on the shelf, on the bottom, and then leave it. You're with me, please. And then I'll put assumptions, something said to it. We have no clue, no idea.
What it's about.
So, those are some things that I would call.
This has been last year, we had over 40 hours budget. 40 hours. And I finally, like about fifth to the end, and we had 4 more hours. And I finally came in and I said, now, what a total hours. But I said, if you spend more time working this budget rather than trying to be commissioners or control the commissioners to do what you wanted to do through the budget and then more time working the budget for what you would like to do, we would have been out here 30 hours.
Actually, the only marathon we ever had, usually when you do it, I'm doing a marathon every day. First year I started in 2005. That's the first year.
On the max of the budget. We did that, so before we let people off.
I was absolutely,
And you know what, that's just it, we have our budget so much that it's hard for, I started having problems trying to find line items to get bills paid for things we have to pay for along that too.
or orange?
No, oh yeah, I'm orange with them. I'm orange with them. Really charming, spontaneous. Here, this actually, I am a natural troubleshooter. Yeah, it's this. We had our president of commissioners who was a prior county council member. He's always felt we have a need for floaters that can work between, like if you're busy at one office, you know, like full tax time, that person, you know, the treasurer's office or something, you could work in there, and then you could buffer over and work, you know, in different spots. One thing is finding that right person. The other thing is it has to be those individual officers. Because if we have that person, she never leaves out of the treasurer's office. But that is, I think, that's a good compromise. Plus, I think it's kind of, you know, those informs on out, you know, kind of identify people that were getting deductions they didn't get. I think that there's a good potential for increasing our assessed valuation through cutting down on some of the things that are getting deductions and have a significant difference. So they did get $6,000. I know for a part-time person who finds that themselves out. Oh, yeah, they've got something, they're not starting off with on the site. Yeah.
walking in,
Yes, I'll
I
stop.
got it out, replace this, yeah, I think this one's already. Where is she?
One cabin, it's about 2 hours south of Greenwood. We're the 8th district. So, actually somewhat southwest. We go through Bloomington, about an hour south of Bloomington.
So what town is it?
Excuse me?
Town? What's the town?
Shoals in Missouri. Excuse me? You're looking to hire? No, she's actually been assistant, probably for me.
I had one point district.
I admire the oranges. Because that's my least, makes me feel the most uncomfortable. All the way down, active, spontaneous, opportunistic, but daring, impulsive. I'm only orange over here. Yeah. And even then, I do this show, it's like, can we just sit on the beach with a little drink and an umbrella? Like, no, we gotta go snorkeling, we gotta.
Now, see, I wouldn't be doing that physically. You see, that's the issue when you're in a relationship, you should be the opposite, because otherwise, you're the same time when you fall in love.
So now that's where we run into Dave Ryan. I'm looking for a point.
Just wear that color, and see what you're attracted to.
I either protect myself or yeah, I'm different. Those negative consequences as his daughter moved to Bloomington, Missouri. So he experienced his craziness and sliced bread on. They won't let her ever ride. And they're out there most of the time. Well, they sold their house, so I'm thinking, so this is needed. This is to see if they'll actually move. Yeah. So you build in somebody else's home. You're slowly. Oh, okay. Oh, I think you were. Yeah, but now that's when I want to, when I did this.
Okay, let's go ahead and report out here. Our first color, though, is blue. So, all of you have a little bit of blue. I know, our blue table is completely empty, and I completely expected that to be a couple people sitting over there. So, as we go through this, I want you to think about yourself, but I also want you to think about the people in your life, primarily the people in your office. There will be people that you view as negative or that you just don't particularly bond with. Whatever word you want to use there, it's like this instead of like this. So I want you to think about these attributes as you're going through and get a picture of the people in your office, the people that you work with that typify this. So I will tell you that blue is my palest color. And there are a lot of times when I listen to people and I always think, oh, it's such a sob story. And I mean, come on. You know, but it's not. They feel everything. They feel. And, you know, if we didn't have people who were blue, we wouldn't have shelters, we wouldn't have food pantries, we wouldn't have, because that's not where, that's not where I tend to head first. I will organize the food pantry for you. Happy to do that. But start it and feel the need and find that. These are our blues. So mediators. You have somebody who comes into your office and is like, and you need a mediator, okay? They're optimistic, they're caretakers, they're passionate about what they feel. They're peacemakers. So those are really important people to have in our lives. Now this is one that's important. They're very sensitive to the needs of others. but they need to feel special. Okay, so that's very important. There's a lot of you're doing a great job. You're the best person for this job. Okay, and it's not a lie. You're not. I mean, it's true. Okay. So but they always have a kind word for you. They always have a hug. They always have a hug for you. All right, so here you go. This is how you can remember a blue, and that's what I always think of. And you can, it always feels like a beating heart right there on their sleeve, right? So if you want to follow along here in your book or your packet, I included this word searches for fun. So, and I apologize, I didn't organize my PowerPoint along with the book. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but so you have the description of the blue in there. So sincere and sympathetic. There are also a lot of actors end up being blue. A lot of people would think green, but actually end up blue. Did you say you act? Yep, I really anticipated you at that blue table. Really anticipated that. Even she said, yeah, she's a hugger.
She has me in the parking lot before we went in. I hug back.
Yeah. You just don't initiate the hugs, right? All right, so reframing the blues. So what we think, if you're not a blue, and blue is maybe your palest color or paler color, is that they're very emotional. They're very overly emotional. Everything that you say to them turns into, you don't like me, you don't care for me, they give too much. They're smothering. They want to be, they want to help you find the bathroom, and they want to help you down the hallway, and they want to, they're illogical. To a green, completely illogical. I mean, everything is based on emotion. It's not based on fact. And a green would say not on reality. So
that's what I have a blue. Don't you think Penny's blue? Penny's blue. And we had use stamps in our, it's something that use stamps in our office. And she was using the rest of the postage machine and things she got to put that. Well, I told Penny, I didn't do it. It wasn't, had it in my mind. Because I told her, you can't what happened. That she had something said to her in a clerk's office long time ago. She refuses to go to our current clerk's office for the postage.
Because they hurt her feelings.
Because it hurt her feelings. I said, Penny, I don't want to go up there. No. Oh, I screwed this. That's one of the things. I screwed this up.
Right, and it's not that, the message is different. It's not that she needed to do it in a different manner. It's all about how you present it it's all in the presentation, and that goes back to being the leader of the office. So, but what they would say, if there was a blue sitting here, that they're very empathetic. They're very caring. They see the best in others. They're nurturing. So all positive things, and you just have to kind of switch your mind around a little bit to see the world through a blue's eyes. Okay, so that's your.
I have a blue that's kind of passive aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a blue tinged with what? And I
I
have
don't
to
know.
know how to do it.
We'll have to discuss that one. Okay, so gold. What was your motto?
Our motto, gold is gold. Right?
Okay, all right, that's a good one.
She came up with gold is gold.
Good as gold is what we think about the goals. I just have to show you this because every workshop I do like this. You see this? How many of your pages look like this? All the way filled out. You've got numbers, right? Because on the board it said 1, 2, and 3. Yep. It's because she's a little bit gold, but it's all the ideas are written out, so it's really easy to share, and that's it's completely gold, and absolutely nothing wrong with it. Just that's a gold trait. So tell me about your joys and strengths and needs.
Joys, family and home, laughter, strengths, strong work ethic, living in common sense, values, honesty, needs, stability.
Okay. Yeah, just that kind of common, that core strength. And what frustrates you?
Well, the people who don't do what they say they're wanting to do, are customer service people who don't go that extra mile, like that, someone else. Just do your job, and then, okay, this is, oh, this.
That's okay. Go ahead, stress is fine. Yeah.
The state.
The state is your frustration. Yeah, well.
Control, I mean, there's a state, and then you have to have capacity for the people in there, but you have no control of some issues.
Yeah, and it's hard to reconcile yourself with not having the control. Yeah, there's the state, whoever the state is, and then there's the people who have to help you with the job that didn't make the decision. So goals, we saw that clock, they're punctual, right? If they say they're going to be there at 8:30, they're going to be there at 8:30. They might actually be there at 8:29 just to make sure they got there in time for 8:30, right? 8. Or 8, yes. I was here at, 8:15, I think. There's a way that things should be done and the way that they should not be done. It's usually pretty black and white. There's a right way to do everything. They tend to be a little bit more analytical, very strong beliefs in policies and procedures and rules. And I mean, we have the rules and we're going to follow the rules. Now they're very family oriented, so traditions are important. They're conservative. Who do you think the best students in school were? The Golds. Yeah. Yeah, they followed the rules. They did exactly what the teacher told them. They did it when the teacher told them. They wrote it down in their planner because they were organized. Okay, so these are our gold attributes. So what do people say about the golds? So you oranges, what do you say about the golds when they're boring? That's right.
They can't think outside the box.
Can't think outside the box. Got to do only what the rules say. Yep. Anything else? Lacking imagination, you're judgmental, you're boring, you're controlling, you're bossy, you're too serious, you never have any fun.
But you couldn't have a world without goals.
You couldn't have a world without the golds there making the rules.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's that.
Yeah. So just as our blues are the ones who are caring and nurturing, and the golds are setting the rules and the structure and the. Do you think George Washington was a gold?
George.
All right, so they'll say they're realistic. They are your organizers. Okay. So when you think again about your office, you have your blues who need to be your mediators and then your golds or who are gonna, if you need a procedure made, buddy, give it to a gold because they will have it down steps 1 through 10. Okay. All right, greens.
We thought that our strengths is our adaptability, that we're problem solvers, that we'll go with the flow, but if things need to be done, we're there, we're going to do it. Our commitment and our support network is very important to us.
Okay.
So our stresses.
Possibly, though, I'm going to go back. That possibly getting it done is probably a little bit gold. Yeah, because you both have that right close behind. So, but you're going to take in all of the information. Yeah. Go ahead.
So then, our stresses, we don't like wishy-washy people, we don't like liars. Just cut to the chase, even if it's messed up, just tell the truth and let's go forward from here and fix it. But don't give me to run around and, and say this is where we are. And we don't like taking from people.
Okay. All right.
And our motto, so then tying all that up, was just do it. We're very Nike. We're very what? Nike.
All right.
So sort of channeling our green.
You are a little challenging your green. The biggest thing that greens are they're very calm, and the next thing is why. Why are we doing this? Why do we have to do this? Why? Is it imperative that we do it now? Why are you doing it the way that you're doing it? Why aren't you doing it this way? Why? Okay. They are perfectionists. So what do you find about perfectionists? They get on your nerves sometimes, yeah, they do. But why do they get on your nerves?
Because everything has to be just right.
They cannot move on until it is perfect, right? Whereas the Golds want it to be organized and we want it done. The Greens it has to be perfect. It has to be, and we just kind of keep nudging and pushing and budging until it's perfect, okay? So that's what people respond to. A lot of times they have difficulty making decisions because they have all this data and we could go down this road but wait, we could go down this road but this might be a good road because they do think outside the box. They take in all that data and they're innovators and they think of all these visionaries, futurists. They think of all these different ways that something could be done, okay? So the person in your office that says why incessantly, right? There's some other attributes that are, the why can drive you to drink, but there's a reason why. They're trying to think of a better way to do something. The one thing that you have to remember about a green is they have a huge need for independence. Blues want to be working together and they want to be in a team and they're really great team players. Greens are not always because they need to have that independence and they need to have some alone time. They have to be able to think and just get away from everybody. So they're kind of the opposites. Okay? So books, information, knowledge, very important to a green. Okay? So greens can be perceived as aloof. They're afraid to open up. They're argumentative. Sometimes they're perceived as absent-minded because their head's in the cloud trying to think of other things. They're critical because, again, it's not perfect, right? So they get critical about how things are going. Sometimes they're a know-it-all, okay? They would say they're confident, right? They are analytical, visionary. Okay, so all of these things that you would think about a green. So greens and blues typically are kind of natural opposites a little bit. Oranges and golds tend to be a little bit of natural opposites. Okay? All right. Oranges? I'm sorry, I need to share this too. I need to share this too, though. Sorry. And I sat here and watched him do it and just kind of internally chuckled the whole time. And it's absolutely fine because they're going to tell us because they can just talk like that. And that's a fantastic feature of an orange.
Be bold and stick to your convictions.
So Joy's strengths.
The strength would be that I'm going to do my things right, and I'm not going to intentionally try to upset you, but I'm going to do my things right, and as I'm sorry about it. And actually, I can't remember.
Joy's strengths and needs.
Our joys both came out as our parents, and our frustrations came out from trying to deal with the frustrations. I think that one thing every county is facing is trying to manipulate a budget with very little money to do it on. And then I think the thing that came out with him and I both when, we were talking, his suggestion was, well, what about part-time? And I'm thinking, that's the same thing. I'm always trying to find some middle ground or a compromise, but maybe I'm telling myself I'm wanting to find compromise while I get people to shove them in the direction I want to shove them in.
But you're problem solving.
Yes.
Yes, you're trying to find a solution to a difficult problem. Yeah.
But when we, I think him and I both, it kind of comes clear when we're putting forth something, it's because, we've done our homework and we looked and that seems to be for us the clear-cut way how to follow it.
And let's make a decision and move on, let's not do that for 6 months or a year.
Yeah, and, you know, in some ways though, maybe this goes against the grain of an orange, but to keep the egos out of it, but to be decisive and then go forward, whatever that decision might be.
Usually politicians have a great deal of orange in them. They want action. Not all politicians, but in just to make a broad brush, because you're willing to get up there in front of people, you want action, you want to take action. There's some charisma involved there, charming, you know how to kind of, the people in your office who know how to talk their way around, those are usually oranges. They have, and part of it goes back to that problem-solving mentality. They can come up with a solution for how to get you to do something you don't really want to do, but you didn't really realize it because they were so charming about it. Okay? So that's kind of an orange type of thing. Just do it is the motto here for your oranges. Just do it is right here. They test the limits. Quick-witted. They stimulate the economy because they'll spend money for you. Okay, so when you think, usually when people think about the oranges, they think of extremes, and that's a little bit. And it's not always, but it's that impulse inside of you. That's the orange impulse. Well, let's just go do it. They're very visual. They're a risk taker, master negotiator. So there's your negotiators in the group. They like tangible rewards. One of the ladies that I work with is very strongly orange, and she comes in and she tells me everything she does all day long. So she comes in and she goes, "Okay, I got that list done." Okay, that's great. And what she needs is me to say, "That's wonderful. This is the next thing on your list." But she needs that reward. Okay. Yep. Sense of accomplishment. Yep. Nonconformist, pushes boundaries. Okay, so anything that is kind of an extreme, that's sort of what your oranges are thinking. So freedom, that's again important to an orange. So this is what we think a lot of times when we see an orange. They're irresponsible, they goof off, they're manipulative, they're obnoxious, they're immature, okay, they're self-centered. Scattered, that's another one that people say a lot. They can't stay focused on a task. So often when you're working with an orange, if you have a big project, if you break it down into smaller pieces, you'll get a lot more done. A gold can take the whole big project and organize it into the chunks themselves. Oranges have a little bit more difficulty with that. And it's just they need to focus on one thing at a time. Kind of. And that's not really how our society is these days. We're always doing 20 things at a time. So they're flexible, they're handy, they're able to do many things, meaning that they're handy, not necessarily at the same time. They're bold, they're fun-loving, independent, they have many interests. Okay?
Are they people who, they won't think about it if we give them a task to do?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
they're not really starters.
They're not really starters necessarily. Sometimes they are. They tend to, if you give them a task and it's a task that they can, focus on, yeah, then they'll get it done for you. Yeah. Sometimes it's just a matter of how you integrate them onto the team. Okay, and you need to usually be pretty specific. This is what you're going to do first. This is what you're going to do second. They don't organize themselves. Usually, when you walk into an orange's office, it's mounds here and mounds there.
Been in there, haven't you? Been there.
That's usually what it looks like. It's not always, but usually. Okay. And remember that this is this is kind of how this feels. So your primary is the easiest thing for you. It's what you naturally do. Second is usually pretty easy. Third, it maybe requires a little energy, and the last one is it's a struggle. It's a struggle for me to be really empathetic and be really sympathetic. Not in all cases, but just kind of in general, it's difficult for me. But all of you have all of the colors in your spectrum, okay? So it's all there. It's just that one of them is, or in my case, 3 of them, are more dominant than the other. Yeah, this can reach out into so many different ways. It has so many different applications. So I will tell you that, so what I own is basically a training company. We go across the state, we go across the country, we train around the world online, we've done some international travel, a lot of time in Canada. And when I first heard about True Colors, what I thought was, I need to be able to connect better to the people in my workshops, okay? That's truly how I saw it. And then we started a business, and it was like, oh, well, now I need to connect to the people who work with me. And then I have to connect with the people that I'm trying to get business from, right? Because we contract with a bunch of people. So if I get on the phone with somebody who is agreeing, I know that what I'm going to be talking about is straight down the line. There's not fluff. There's no, they don't care about that. They want to know the details. How much does it cost? How many days? How many people? Where they're located? That sort of a thing. So it really does help you when you're working with all kinds of different situations. So what I have some scenarios for you, but what I want you to do first is pull out a piece of paper. You can write on the back of one of the pieces of paper in your book. You can write on one of the pieces of paper on the table too. It's all there. That's what it's there for. Get a pen. And I want you to, if you're left-handed, I want you to write your name with your right hand. If you're right-handed, I want you to write your name with your left hand.
Right?
With your opposite hand. Just write your name.
Your right.
Print it, cursive, I don't care.
Wrongly right.
Mm-hmm.
Both my children are left. Our IT person. Under window that says, if the door is unlocked, come in, or they wrote it on no. Put it side backwards.
Oh.
I do that. I can write backwards. Print backwards. I do that better than what they do.
Then use it with your other hand. Then to do your opposite hand, your non-dominant hand. So how did that feel? Uncomfortable. Yeah. And that's what it is approaching life from your non-dominant, your palest color, right? So that's what we're going to work on. We have a couple of scenarios like that, and then I have a group scenario depending on kind of where we are with time. So these, I just kind of set this up here, so I'm going to leave this up here for a little bit. I want you to gather with your least dominant color. And if we have everybody at the blue table, then we'll have to do the next to least dominant color. But, so I want you to find your most dominant, least color, your palest color. And that's where I want you to head. Oh, so you're now still moving the same direction?
We go to that table
Yes,
together?
yep. Are you all, you're orange? Okay, you're orange. So we have, and she's green, okay? Okay, that's fine. What is your next solution? Oh, you were twins. You were tied there. Were you close on your last two?
No, I'm
Okay. Fine. No, I know.
Oh, okay.
well, that would be that table. 6 and 4.
No, you're fine. You're fine right here.
8 points between us.
Okay. So you need to go to your gold. So you guys are going to flip. She's orange. So you're going to go to the gold table, right? Okay. I'll miss you too. He says.
Yeah. Thank you, gold ring.
Here. Let's know.
We ain't gonna, so while we're here, we're gonna be involved.
There you go.
I have so many things that actually aren't gold.
Yeah, Lonnie at least wore a green or an orange shirt, right? All right, so here's the first one. I've kind of listened to a little bit about what you've been chatting about as we've gone along today. So let's start with this one. You're having a departmental meeting, okay? And you have the person who is, you probably present information from your most dominant color, from that perspective. So if you're gold, you probably have an agenda, and you probably work down the agenda. So how does the orange respond to that, would be one question for you. Probably you just have to smile because you know how the orange in your office responds to that. But more importantly, how do you appeal to the orange in your departmental meeting? How do you make them part of your team and get them involved in whatever project you're working on? Okay, so that's your first question. So go ahead and we'll work on that for just a bit. So you're trying to think outside of your comfort zone.
So
How do you, as a predominant orange, a dominant orange, you might even think from your green, from a green perspective, come together to make whatever you're doing appealing to your goal. Yes. Yes. And one other thing, and thank you, I don't know that you meant to do this, but in your handout here, once you get past the colors, you have true colors at work. So that's going to give you a little bit of information about them in a work environment. The next one is true colors in leadership, and then true colors under pressure. And then the last item is just strategies for working with each color. So you have some resources there to work with, okay? And you're more than welcome to, I mean, I don't expect you to be a professional at determining how an orange would respond to a list because you're not now, but that's what these resources are for. So your idea here is you're going to have a departmental meeting and you're going to appeal. You will probably naturally appeal to those of your own color. What you want to do is to reach out to the person that is your palest color. That's what you need to focus on. Okay? So you guys want to start? Okay. So your palest color is orange, right? Okay, so how do you involve the oranges in the meeting and get them as part of feeling as part of the team?
And we'll tell you whether that will work.
That'd be great. That would be great.
Good. We thought we'd do more brainstorming like that. That was good.
That was good.
A little more brainstorming, have a more open-ended agenda. Start the meeting maybe with an icebreaker. And we thought it'd be kind of a good idea maybe at the end of the meeting to do more awards, like give some recognition like, to one of the had the most productivity or customer service employee of the month or something like that.
Well, our gold watches involved in this.
Not big government, yeah.
Yeah, that's they are creative people. So when you can tap into that creativity, we see them as kind of flighty and they can't get anything done. But there's a lot of creativity there that can be tapped into that you don't always appreciate. So yeah, that sounds good. They love rewards. That's the lady who comes into my office and just needs to be told. It doesn't have to be elaborate. Just hey, you're doing a great job kind of thing. So yeah. Gold is your palest color. So what were you going to do to involve the golds?
What I suggested was usually what I do is I try to connect with people, individuals prior to the meeting. I do it through a lunch or a phone call or a beer or something. Try to find some common ground things we can agree on and not focus on things I know we're not going to
Agree on.
right. And through our conversation, just with those things we established that we just make them feel comfortable.
Show them we don't bite.
You don't bite? Okay, that's good. That's good.
Chocolate one. Present, MC, even in.
It's the gold table. It's the aura.
Confirming this, we did bullet points. We present our ideas in an organized manner, bullet pointed. We be concise about what we want. We don't ramble around. And respect their point. And respect the goals work ethic. How hard
You're always on time for a meeting with the golds. You're always on time for a meeting with the golds, right? They're pretty conservative and traditional. So oranges, usually an orange leading a meeting because it won't start on time. And there's an open agenda, and there might not be an agenda, and it just kind of drives the golds just a little bit crazy. Not really super crazy.
Off
but-
their comfort.
Right. Well, and that it's just kind of it's a funny thing to watch. It's a funny thing to kind of be a part of, and then you're kind of in the middle of it. You're like, huh. You kind of have a realization. So green is your paylist, and we talked a little bit. But if you go ahead and share with the group.
Jenny came up, I presented a scenario on my green person, and so she suggested presenting an alternative, like when someone, let's go out and do this, and let's go out my shoes, and get wet, and get brown, because maybe we'll make it up. So I said, okay, so I'll come up for step. So he says, well, just offer them an alternative. Maybe you need to do a pair of shoes here so that when you go out to the next time. We're not going to be prepared. And then I said, if the situation arises, ask them what they think, because this green, she kind of, she wants to be leader, she wants to be boss, and so it's important that if there was something else arose, and I said, well, maybe we need to do this, and she was a little open to that idea, and she created her own list, help it out. Because it's for the taxpayers who want to do a good job. And then we thank them for their ideas and leadership, trying to be more appreciative and thankful. Okay, that was a great idea. And so if you let them kind of come up with the idea, then, but in all honesty, I couldn't be in control. And she wants to control, so we don't want to butt heads. And I was kind of looking at it. But we don't like to be in control. So you just kind of have to acknowledge that. She's kind of looking for that. I think breathe down for people. But find a task for them to do that is beyond what they usually do, but it's something that's intriguing for them. So they don't really want to do what you want to do. They kind of want to do what they want to do. But if you give it to them in a way that, oh, this is going to fit me and something that I can do. Just a very smart person. She's one of the people who go to a new office. She's really in this office.
They can do some research and find some knowledge.
She can be very exasperating for their.
Yes, yes.
And-
They like to be, when get this done, and be done, and don't kind of figure it out beyond, I think that's how they are.
Agreeing, well, it can be exasperating more because they keep asking you why, or they want to change they want to give you a new idea, or that sort of a thing. So that's what their ideas are kind of a big thing. And if you kind of look through there, the things that they're appreciated for, that's the vocabulary, I guess, for lack of a better word, to use. Greens are appreciated for their ideas. So use that language. Give them the opportunity to come up with ideas. You came up with a perfect one for the oranges. They have creative ideas. So brainstorming. They don't necessarily have to come up with a final idea. They just like to throw the ideas out there, right? And then you have what their specialty is, their overall mood. So I'll include that as well. But those are just kind of some things. And then you have more information here in the strategies for working with the colors too in your book. So that's just kind of the condensed version. Okay, so in Clinton County, I mentioned earlier that my husband's the president of the county council, and so in Clinton County, as in about every other county in Indiana, the budget hearings underway, right? So we had budget hearings last Tuesday. The first read was last Tuesday. So by Wednesday morning, of course, we had an article about it. What happened at this meeting was, of course, we have no money, just like every other county in Indiana. And so the first thing, they kind of said was, blah, blah, blah is going to take up blah, blah, blah money, and now we don't have any money for employee raises. And so what this lady was saying was, it would be nice, just for once, if they would consider trying to find a way. It was a little bit more emotional take on it. It was a little bit more blue, whereas the council, well, that guy right there is very bold and very green, okay? And so we were talking about this and getting ready for this, and and he said, I've got the perfect, I didn't know about it, he told me this on Tuesday night after it happened. I got the perfect scenario. And it was not, they're both fine people, and they like each other. They're good friends. But it was all the way that the wording and it was all the way it was presented. And the way the words came out of his mouth and went into her ears and back across the table. And that's really what it's about. And being a leader and being in a position like this, that's what it's about, is being everybody rallied around and on the same team and feeling heard and listened to and ready to move in the direction that you need to move. So this is your last kind of task. You've got a county council, and we've got the perfect leader in the room with us. You've got a county council, and of course they're all different colors also. And they have different motivators for being on there. Of course, you've got insurance, right? Most of them, I would say, is probably they're there for the good of the county too. So, but there are other motivators, we all know. But you have a project that you want to be part of your budget, or you don't want to lose a member of your staff, and you know that that's kind of on the table. Whatever it is, and you guys can decide what it is. I would suggest that you pick a topic. But how do you present that to a county council that's made up of golds, greens, blues, and oranges? Okay, and you can work together as a group on this. But that's ultimately where you end up. Is you're all responsible for a budget, or maybe not ultimately responsible, but it affects you. It all affects you. And so how do you present what you want to get done to the council as part of your budget, or so that it doesn't get cut? Okay? So you can come together and work around a table, or you can sit where you are and we just kind of throw some ideas out. And I think you'd probably be better off if you started with one idea so if somebody's got something on their budget or they're particularly going for, then that'd be good. You want to split into two groups like that? You can do this too. Yeah, that'd be fine. That'd be fine. You can split in those two groups. That kind of makes you natural groups. Okay. Oh, I just meant a whole big group, but it doesn't matter. This works perfectly. So no, it's perfectly fine. So, oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah. So you just need to address, what kinds of information, what kinds of words do you need to use to appeal to all the different colors on your county council. Okay.
You were that awesome. Aaron, Sherry, you had something with that? Okay. That's always the biggest part of the budget. By far. Yeah, we definitely have a couple of years.
Every deputy last week in council meeting.
Definitely have people that are there to move on.
A solid line of
Politically, also using it as a stepping stone. So their idea is to get rid of that makes the most for taxpayers. And they're going to save for taxpayers. Yes, yeah. So. All of them. Yeah.
So bring staff that we're all the same. A solid air, so whether it's to be responsible.
What could cost us more for the great person in lawsuits because we're not getting everything done. And you would understand that. There's a future, there's more liability with the government.
Look right in the eye.
so hard.
What else?
Orange
It
soda's
is
so
really
hard.
hard.
I know.
Once you kind of identify, you're like, oh, yeah.
An option to compromise, you know.
The other thing too, is what's going to appeal to, to the old,
Change our, kind of, we go to some different plans, we go to HSA, then we'll have more money for ours. It's like that, it's like that, it's like that. Isn't that funny? I don't even remember where we were going with it, I just think that's hilarious. Yeah.
Look at the options that they could go
It's
with
about
us.
Oh my gosh. This is really interesting. I've never done one with colors.
Don't bring it.
I've seen a lot of people that really
Usually when it's blanket over.
Yeah, votes are organized. We'll usually get in. He's a rambler. He's a Buick. He's a rambler. He shows how I
Not
do it.
rambling.
My dad worked for Rambler.
Hey, and you tell me, I grew up around this for years, and I always tell students, I can take a picture of it, if I'm wanting a new sewer, how this, new sewers or whatever. This person had this dilemma and run a faulty sewer, they couldn't even enjoy their backyard. They had to actually, this was an old couple, and they wanted to sit out under the tree. I pulled my glue, I tore from the bottom, and I put that on.
That's the hardest thing.
You betcha.
That's the hardest thing about writing a grant for me, because you have to pull on that. And I want to say, straight to the point, we need it because
Concise,
it floods and blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't
It's
take
obvious.
pictures. Yeah, yeah. in my head is that, whenever I go to some sort of, anyway, I think about stuff. Yeah, so I used to kind of say, no, we should do this, blah, 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 blah. And he had 97 reasons, not that, why it was really good. And I had learned before I did this that what I need to do is kind of plan. And this is why it's good. And if I really want, I had to think it out and not just impulsively say it. So I think that we intuitively do this a lot of times. It's just sometimes it helps to sit down and say, oh, that works. Awesome plan. We should be doing that. And I've taught my children that, that would be something. You don't just word it out. You gotta have it right. And once he's got it in his head, it's not gonna work, but it will work. It matters.
It's like I'm saying, decide what, I mean, they can't come to that, don't think about it.
Well, this is the other thing, is you wanna go to dinner. That can be a 3-hour discussion. I don't know, do we have enough money this month? We did it, and then where do we wanna go? Where else was we bored? So at some point, the school has to go together and say, okay, what are we doing this evening? Is we're going to Wendy's for dinner? That's exactly right. It feels on all levels. We're hungry,
Or not.
Matt had a little boy it's just so incredibly awesome. And then my other son, he has these 2 numbers. And then they're all great. So I'm not sure. We haven't really done a test, so that's just sort of my mother analysis.
It's interesting, you raise them back to the same.
That's part of that. I get asked that question a lot. I don't know if I have one that long.
Are you listening?
She said that, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I believe it.
I would do this.
Yeah.
Are you the oldest? You're our oldest is that. I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest. So I think we tend to really, I wonder if we're only children, do we end up being a little more like us?
Maybe, no.
Are you a large difference? Yeah, so not a huge difference. My sister is going through and she was 7 years younger than my brother, so she was kind of blessed. And so she did some of all four. It's such a, that seems like such an unusual thing. Because you got some impulsiveness and adventurousness, and then you have to take in all of the information and which has to be very smart anyway, right?
True.
Yeah. Let's go for it.
That is interesting.
Yeah, that's the other thing, too, right there, work lives, home lives, so there's lots of okay, let's talk a little bit. It's also I know. You're just not don't worry. Okay, so you guys.
Our issue.
I was like, no, you go ahead.
Our issue was our council comes to us and says we need to cut personnel in our budget. We need to make cuts, it's gonna be in the personnel area. So, our plan is we're gonna come in and tell a story, right? For the oranges. We're gonna tell a story about problems this is gonna cause for us, so that they understand. And then we're gonna think outside the box and give them some different options. And we're gonna come up with another option, which is that we need to cut our insurance premiums and come up with some HSAs and some different ideas that's gonna save us some money. And so that will make us more fiscally responsible for the future for the Greens. for the goals, we just think that's the best option.
It's the logical.
Logical option.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got the fiscal there with the goals too, so.
Yeah.
The only danger in telling a story for your blues is that you lose the goals on the
Yeah.
storytelling a little
Let's
bit.
do a short
So,
story.
A short story, yes,
Short
yes,
story.
you're right, yeah.
And with the, and for blues, we're just gonna tell them if we cut personnel, it's gonna hurt our morale so much.
Really
It's
pretty
poor people are gonna be without jobs, it's gonna hurt families, it'll be. So,
All right, perfect.
My suggestion was is that what I've noticed is that when issues brought to the table and can be controversial, and on an arts and staffing, if you bring a large group to a meeting as opposed to, I go to the county council meeting, there's 4 or 5 folks that are saying that. Some of the folks I serve with have a hard time saying no.
Insight from the councilman. He said that and I was like, that's absolutely true.
that all the
So,
time.
if there's something that I advocate for, I've been talking to folks, I suggest that you bring yourself and all the folks in your office as well as your spouse or maybe a double.
Here, this is even the better story using his. This is the person who's going to lose their job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You tell them.
So, I think I was conniving or manipulative or sly or witty or something. I really
He is the boss.
So, that was my suggestion, and, a lot of times, there's free easy goes, look, this is for $5,000 for this account, the next one, yeah, we're all gonna do it. Yeah, I want to add a position, and I don't have a position, but I want benefits, so I bring 25 people with me to that meeting. Friends, neighbors, voters, that's what I'm saying, go to a large group, so, that's what I do.
Or at least right out without asking any questions and kind of delving into the issue a little bit.
One thing he said was, have an option to fall back on a compromise. Don't show that as your lead card, but have something in your back pocket, as he said, that if things don't look like they're going your way, that you can have that as well. At least we'll get something out of this, a compromise. And then the other thing I had, be prepared with your facts. Don't show up unprepared. The goals will like it if you show up, that you're organized, you got PowerPoint, you state the logical reasons, lead them, over to your way of thinking. And show the consequences of what happens if they don't do this, like he said, maybe there was something that you needed to get to the state. Well, you were able to get it, but you were actually late because of some of these staffing issues you've had. And Kathy says that she needs to remember, don't
Yeah.
state your case, don't, because then they'll start nodding off or whispering back door to my door.
That was my goal. I realized it was the goal. I had it packed ready. This is what we were doing. And it was all happening. And so they had to back to the first thing we were doing.
Great.
Great. So they had it right before. But I had, and I thought, I don't know, I just thought, blue, just going my blue. Like, one person went to the election, I'm going to decide a person, I want to do something, I don't do that. And that's the idea, I'll bring her to the meetings, if we get in the assessment, like, we're going to run out of money. She is a wage earner. She is. So if you do not move her out of it, we're going to run out of it. That's going to cost $100,000. And that was up to like contract. But I did that too with the council, the budget. The state set up like a levy of $175,000, I said, hey, you don't, he says they have the option now to do it or not. He says, if you don't put $175,000 in this budget, come the next reassessment, you're gonna have to cough out $400,000 right then and there to pay for that reassessment.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
And,
consequences.
and I think that's the other part of your, I mean, that's part of your job when you go to a counselor or a commissioner, is probably a little bit, not entirely, but a little bit is to educate. I mean, they don't always know.
The worst thing is somebody being there that isn't prepared, because they're gonna ask you some off the wall
Yeah.
question. To me, it's your department, you should know exactly what's going on, because we've all seen them that have been there that, you know, just standing there like, well,
You're-
listen, if you don't know enough to
You're-
present this and don't know your budget well enough, then that's the hard part.
Yeah, I go over to the budget meetings. I don't go every year, but I went one year and sat through the whole 2.5 days, just because it wasn't the first year, just because he kept coming home with these stories. And I was like, well, you know that, and it's a good interaction of people. And probably the best presentation was from the county extension officer. And she got up there and she had packets for everybody. And she's not, I know her personally, she's not normally an entirely organized person. I would say she's probably very orange. She throws out ideas like crazy, fantastic ideas. And then the greens and the golds are scattering around underneath going, okay, but wait a minute, but do we implement, wait a minute, do we do this one or that one, and how much money? So I was really surprised to see her presentation. But she went through it in a very organized manner. But she told about the programs that they do. So they do a Mommy and Me program. And so she told about how many people had been affected for that. So you've got the story, you've got the data. She told a specific story about one mother and child and how that program helped them. The data, how much it costs. So she's got it all wrapped up into these little bundles and just really justified her budget. And it appealed to all the people. And so that was the one that afterwards I asked a couple of different councilmen. My husband said, well, she could have done without all the stories. And the other person said, well, she could have done without another piece of it. So you could tell that it really hit all of the people because they had different reactions to it. So she kept all of her budget. She was one of the few people who kept the whole budget. So.
But you know, think about it. What is the extension agent? Where are they from? They're from Purdue. They're from a university atmosphere. What if they probably already had? She's probably already sat through a presentation exactly like this one. So she went in armed with these tools you're giving us. She went in armed with and knew how to present it.
Yeah, that's very possible. Mm-hmm. She certainly had some experience. She was the extension agent for 30 years, and she managed to get a whole new building bought and managed to unite the commissioners and the council. So she's certainly sharp, yeah. But at appealing to all of these different personalities. So.
I'm sure later did they, he talked about the state, the grant money.
Uh-huh.
Had to get
Yeah,
their back.
and you just have to appeal it. You're going to get.
He told the story.
Mhm.
He told the story and the fact.
Yeah, the thing you have to be careful of with the story, because that certainly appeals, and you need to, I mean, the story is good because even in a green's mind, you need to have a little bit of something to grab onto, right? But you have to be careful that you don't go too far in that direction. But we're at 12. So I guess in closing, I just want to tell you, I hope that you enjoyed our time together. And I hope that you're walking away with some tools. If you have any questions, obviously I'm here. But I would just encourage you to familiarize yourself a little bit more with each of those colors. And I hope that they really help you. If you go back and review, I don't want to take up your time to do that, but if you go back and review the description, I think that we hit on a lot of different things, and these tools will really help you. So I hope you find that to be the case. All right, thanks.